What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of The Tuesday Show brought to you by Blue Light Media. My name's Mikhail, and today I'm super pumped for this episode because we have Christina Vecchi, who is the founder of Events by the Sea, one of the best companies in Orange County. I'm really excited to learn a little bit about what you're doing and a little bit more about who you are as well. So for anybody that might be watching who doesn't know you yet, can you tell us a little bit about you and your business?
Yes. So I'm super excited to be here, as always. I'm the owner of Events by the Sea, which is a full-service event planning and design company. We're based in Huntington Beach, but we serve clients all over. We do birthdays, retirement parties, baby showers, gender reveals. We're mainly known for weddings, but we don't like to stop there. We like to do it all. And our motto is we want to make your Pinterest dreams come to a reality. So whatever that means for you, that's what we want to do for you.
That's amazing. I made a little bit of a face because I still find it incredible that a gender reveal might require an event planner.
Yeah.
How many of those have you done?
We do quite a few. I would say this year about 10.
10
which
gender
is quite
reveals.
a lot
Yeah.
In the scheme of things.
Yeah. And you're always busy, it seems like. I mean, we were just talking about, we were supposed to get drinks a month ago.
Yep.
Hasn't happened yet. Spaced.
Completely. The time just flew by.
But there's this like general respect of like, hey, you're making it happen. So respect for that. Really appreciate it. I have a big question for you. Before we started filming, we were talking about how you've grown your business. Now, you've done it essentially without social media. You're one of the few right now who are not relying on that. How did you do it?
Mainly, it's referral based. I pride myself in good customer service.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to treat your clients not just as a client, but also as a friend. And with that being said, because they feel like they have this personal relationship with me, they keep coming back. And I continue to be part of every life moment. So I have clients who I've done their wedding and they get pregnant and I do their baby shower and gender reveal. And then they refer me to their sister and their mom, and I end up doing the retirement party for the grandma, so it just becomes this ongoing relationship.
Right.
And that just kind of snowballs, really.
How do you maintain those relationships?
By always checking in.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean...
So even after, like, let's say, I got married and then 2 months after, you're just checking in randomly?
Yep. Just saying, hi, how are things? I would love to come over and see how you're doing. How's married life? That kind of stuff. I mean, it's quite sad when you work with someone for so long, especially with a client who's booked my top package, when that's usually a year out. It's hard not to form like a friendship, right? So when it's all said and over with, like it's kind of sad. You're like kind of mourning like the loss of it because you're like, wow, it's over, but now we're not seeing each other anymore. So
sure.
I definitely like to maintain those relationships.
That's awesome. One thing that I've also noticed since we started, connecting a little bit more is your team seems to be constantly growing. What are some of the ways that you manage growing your team while maintaining the integrity of the company?
So that's actually a great question because I've struggled with this for the past few months now. So I'm actually in transition with my team. I have a team right now of 8, and I'm actually going to shorten that.
Okay.
But I'm doing it a little differently. I'm going to shorten it to 5, and those 5 are going to be like the bread and butter of the business. And my goal of that is to really empower them and grow them as an individual, so I can do other things within my business and they can take on clients of their own.
Oh, okay, great.
So we'll have...
So the 5 that are your team.
Yeah, they'll be individual. So right now, the girls that work with me just work under me and they accompany me to things. However, I don't really fully give them all my clients. So I'm still working with every single client while doing everything else. Whereas I want to empower them and have them take on clients completely and for them to take ownership of those events, and then I do mine. So we each kind of divide the clients per se.
And this will still be under your brand.
Correct.
That's awesome. How did you get them to buy into that?
I picked out the right people out of the 8.
Yeah.
Who I know that can do it, and not only can do it, but want to do it and are passionate about it, and want to ultimately maybe spread their wings and start their own business.
That's so awesome.
Which I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah, because you mentioned, on a podcast we did last month, a couple months ago, that your mentor was somebody that you worked under and was facilitating you like starting your own business, right? Yeah. That's awesome that you're like paying that forward.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can do the same.
So I got to ask, I mean, I think this is probably something a lot of owners and entrepreneurs struggle with, but how do you effectively downsize your team without, burning bridges?
It's going to be a little difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of the girls that are not going to be moving forward in the new year are okay with that because they have other commitments. And I think they've also realized there's been a lot of communication, of course, leading up to this moment. They've realized that it's not for them.
Sure.
With event planning, you either love it or you hate it.
Yeah.
It's not those kind of in-between careers.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like dealing with people and you can't take criticism, it's definitely not a business for you. It's just not. And I think a lot of people go into it thinking, oh, it's all fun and it's like unicorns and butterflies and sparkles and all that. But
and
really,
babies.
And babies and weddings and all. It's not. There's more than that. And which is fine. And I think that is a learning experience. And I'm happy that the girls got to experience it. And now they know, okay, this is not really the career I want. One of the girls on our team is actually going to be a cop. And she decided that's what she wants to do. So she's training for that right now.
That's awesome.
And great for her.
Yeah.
And I hope that I wish all of them all the best.
That's really cool. So, I mean, you let them know beforehand, like, hey, look, this is where the company is going, and it seems like you had a pretty good pulse on like where they were at within your company anyways, right? What are some of the things that you do to maintain the relationships within your company? With
my girls on my team? Again, it's kind of goes back to my clients. I want the girls on my team to feel like they can come to me too with like personal questions. Like if they have a question about their boyfriend or like a girlfriend issue, or if they need help with picking out an outfit on a date or whatever it may be, I want them to not think of me as just as their boss.
Sure.
That I'm also their friend, and that I'm here to support them too and empower them. I don't want them to think that I'm here and they're there. It's not like that.
So you're obviously, you're scaling up, allowing other people to kind of maintain your brand without you being as involved. What are some of the systems that you're putting in place to make sure that, the brand is taken care of when you're not, as hands-on?
Like remaining consistent?
Yeah.
I think that goes back to, I'm really heavily big on shadowing. So before I hire any of my girls, they have to come to an event and I kind of throw them into it. And I like to just observe. I like to see how they interact with the guests.
Right.
If they don't stay on their phone while guests are like showing up, like how they handle pressure. Can they fix a problem without freaking out?
Yeah.
Are they solution oriented? And that's kind of how I see who they really are as a person. And then I kind of can grow that and develop them into what I think is how Events by the Sea should be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outside of throwing them into the deep end, do you have any like unique interview questions?
Unique interview questions. I always ask I always start my questions with a situation. So for instance, I'll say if a client, you did a whole mock-up for that client and they seemed like they were happy with it. Right. And then the day comes and you put on exactly how you showed them and they come back and they don't like it. Like they just freak out of nowhere, which this happens many times, right? I'm sure you guys understand. How would you handle that?
Yeah.
What is going to be your reaction? Are you going to get all upset and frustrated because now all of a sudden they changed their mind? How are you going to react?
Right.
So all of my questions are very situation based.
And when, I guess you haven't really ran into it, but what was one of the signs that you felt like, as you were scaling up and making the decision to kind of downsize your team, what were one of the signs that you noticed that like, hey, maybe for this team member, this position really isn't for them? Is there something that stuck out in your head?
Yeah, their lack of excitement. and passion and creativity, I started kind of seeing those people like it dwindle a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's not my brand.
Yeah, for sure.
I want us to all be excited and happy and pumped for an event.
Yeah.
I don't want people to feel not excited.
Right. What are some of the things that you do as a group to maintain like that camaraderie that you're so passionate about?
I think just laughing and like, and sharing stories and keeping it real with each other.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
What's the favorite part about your business?
Favorite part? Meeting tons of people every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, you get to be a part of like the happiest parts of, people's lives.
Yeah.
The wedding, the gender reveal.
Huge life moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
it's very rewarding.
Yeah, for sure. And probably graduations or something eventually. That's going to be crazy.
Especially when they love it and they're happy with the outcome.
Awesome. Christina, we really appreciate your expertise on this. I mean, honestly, scaling up, managing a team is one of the things that they just don't really teach you, I think, in like business school. I never went, but I can't imagine that they teach you that.
I don't think they do. Or no one wants to talk about it.
Nobody wants to talk about it because there is the hard part of doing it, right? When you do have to scale up and downsize, that type of thing. So we really appreciate your expertise on this. For everybody that wants to connect with you, where can they find you?
On Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, and Facebook at Events by the Sea.
Awesome.
And C is CEA.
That's perfect. For all the viewers, we really appreciate your time and your attention. If you love the episode, we would appreciate a comment and share it with one of your friends. And be sure to check in next week. And remember, no matter what you do, put your heart into it, and we'll see you next time on The Tuesday Show.